statement, and there will be also a preliminary statement as well as the press release available for you outside this room at the end of this event. By participating and sitting here in these rows, you have also given consent to use your images, pictures. As you see, there are cameras who can film, photograph. If you don't like to be filmed or photographed, there is a designated area on the right side of the room for you. The images might be used by our mission or by European Commission, on website, social media. And those that we will not use the images, those will be deleted after the event. Now, without any further ado, let me pass the floor to our chief observer.
Thank you, Marek. I have just noticed my first speech is very long. Sorry for that. I'll try to keep it short. Well, first things first, thank you for coming. The member of the press, the ambassador, the European Union, Carmen, the ambassador, journalists, professionals. I'm part of my team in Colombo. We are very grateful for the invitation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Election Commission. In one of the main newspapers of the country, we were situated in the same level as one Indian military vessel, 3 Chinese military vessels, and the guys coming from the European Union. And the rest of the paragraph, here's a bit editorial. It was who invited these guys? Who invited these colonial guys? We were invited by your authorities. We never conduct any kind of observation without having a prior invitation of the authorities. We are very grateful to the state institutions, the judiciary, the civil society, very active, the media, the political parties, and the people. The people that, my personal experience, we receive us with the most warming, welcome smile in every polling station, and this is very rewarding. And also thank you to my team, to my excellent team, led by Inta and Marek and the colleagues and Basil and Ralph and many others, having sustained this effort of the European Union to try to be of help for the country. Allow me to say something about the context of the mission. We accepted the invitation of Sri Lanka. We had to choose among many invitations, and we decided to come. We decided to come not only because it's a usual thing that we do, this is our 7th electoral mission, but also because this election has been the translation, or the electoral translation of the unease and the tension and the unrest that the Ragalaya signified for the country. And we were very interested in knowing in which way this crisis, having been conducted out of the institutional challenge, could be finally channeled by the electoral laws and the institutions and in a peaceful way. As I said in my first conference, I'm happy to underline again, we have excellent news, peaceful and calm environment, absolutely. Minor, irrelevant incidents, and the other good news, the divide, because the religion, the ethnic, the identity has not been present at the core of the campaign and election. But this is excellent news, and the result that has been underlined by the media. The results show that this is not a divide, or has not been a divide at least in this election. We are presenting what we call our preliminary findings, and we always start our preliminary findings with a paragraph carefully crafted that try to appear in a nutshell what is our impression. Allow me to read it literally. The 2024 presidential election was the first pivotal step after the Aragalaya to reinvigorate the democratic process through the ballot box. The Election Commission of Sri Lanka conducted the process independently and with resolve, ensuring transparency at all key stages of the elections. The contest itself was pluralistic and fundamental freedoms were broadly respected. Campaign was peaceful and energetic, yet advantage of incumbency tilted the playfield with some manipulative digital campaigns aimed to confuse voters. Election day was orderly and calm, respecting the right of voters and principle of transparency. Vote count and the tabulation of results was also positively rated by citizens and international observers, and all lead candidates accepted the outcome of the polls. I have to say, this is the first time in my long list of 20-something missions in which I'm delivering the press conference having already a president having been sworn, and this is a very speedy process and very calm and very peaceful. I think the conceding speeches and statements were very useful. What is the problems that we appreciated in a general environment of excellent conduct of the elections? We don't ask in any way to a reshuffle, to the reform of the electoral processes, but there are probably they need a kind of fine-tuning. It's to refine. It's not about to change deeply, because it's high time to get rid of all practices not in line with the maturity and the development of your historic electoral tradition. And we are talking about some of these practices that are completely out of the rest of the process, and probably these practices are going to be part of our recommendations in the final report. The mission is our 7th mission, as I said. It's a tradition to come, and this is a proof of engagement. When we come to a country, it's a signal of our willing to continue the relation and to be partners of the country. We arrived, the 14 arrived on mid-August. On the day of the election, we had 70 observers observing the opening, the voting, the counting, the tabulation. We visited 274 polling stations, and we were present in 29 counting premises and in 22 tabulation centers. I don't want to extend on this. If you need any kind of figures about the shape and scope and the activities of the mission, we are eager to provide anything. Let's go to the assessment more in detail. The legal framework of the country to conduct election is perfectly conducive, and we are happy to know that there are improvements in the last period. Some of the improvement, not only because we recommend it, probably there are proper domestic analysis regarding data protection, regarding campaign financing, regarding the inclusion of the new voters in the voter list at the end of the moment, in a way that any person having 18 years could be included in the voter list to vote. Some concerns that are, if you allow me to say, kind of preemptive or preventive concerns. Because there are new laws, the laws on terrorism, the online safety law, and the draft on civil society organization that raise some concern. Not only because the text, because some interpretation of these laws could conduct some erosion of fundamental rights. I'm not saying in any way because these laws have not been used in the process, but they are still passed, and some of them being drafted, and we are a little bit worried about what could be the use of these laws late. Election Commission. I'm very happy to say probably this is of my long list of missions, the mission in which I had the opportunity to appreciate the commitment and the capacity and the excellent results of the work of the Election Commission. In many ways, very transparent, very efficient, very professional, trusted. Not one single of my interlocutors, I probably the rest of the team, has never cast a minor doubt about the attitude of the election commission. And to enjoy this trust is really an asset that you have to enjoy and to keep it and to take care of. Very close to the civil society, working with the civil society. Vocal, because it's not as frequent to see election commission coming out vocally saying, be careful with that, don't do that, we notice that, and coming out publicly, for example, with the failed surveys, or with the misuse of the results of other issues. It's not only to act professionally, it's to appear before the public opinion doing things and being the watchdog of the election. The collaboration with police has been excellent, despite the lack of having a general inspector, and this is good news. We enjoy institution functions, not depending on the person, because the institutional game is well established, and then the police acted on behalf of the election commission and an excellent record of interventions, trying to avoid any problem regarding the election. Our concern then is not about the political will and the professionalism of the election commission, it's about the lack of proper enforcement capacities. Not sufficiently probably funded, with probably with a lack of personal and a lack of maybe material resources. And this is a thing the country has to tackle, because you enjoy an excellent election commission in many aspects, but the election commission has to be reinforced in the enforcement capacities. The registration of the candidates, nothing to comment on the formal process. But what was the result of the registration process? 39 male candidates. At the end, 38 male candidates. Not one single woman. This is a problem. This is a problem you have to tackle. Women is a thing that you are listening from us in our report. Because it's quite strange. But if you are only there are 2 monks and no one single woman, I guess there are more women in the country than monks. But anyway, this is the thing you have to solve, because this is one of the things that is not in line with the maturity of your electoral process. And 39 candidates, several of them, not even having conducted a campaign. 39 candidates, it's a big number of candidates from the point of view of the state resources allocated to candidates not campaigning, or not representing any other thing than being proxies or the real candidate, or being only trying to have some notoriety in the society. That costs money for the budget of the state, for the treasury. And I think you have to think the ways to try to be sure that the candidates for this important position, as the president, is representing something in the society, not the particular political will to appear in a list. I'm not asking in any way for raise the guarantee bond. No. There are other ways to be sure that the people enlisted to be candidate is representing something in the public opinion. On the campaign, perfectly peaceful, energetic, with the candidates not using religious divide, but approaching religious communities and ethnic communities, every one of them, and breaking a little bit this old traditional alignment having to do with geography and ethnicity. It's true, at the end of the campaign there was a growing hostility and a growing rise of the hostile narrative, especially in social media, but this is a trend, unfortunately, in every country of the world, and we all have to deal with this kind of new phenomenon. The contendants, they were real contendants, offering different things. Sometimes in many regimes, there are several contenders presenting exactly the same. No, this has been a free campaign offering to the citizens real alternatives. The level playing field, this is an issue that I have just mentioned, and the advantage of incumbent in many aspects. One common to also to the other candidates, lavish promises of raising salaries immediately, commitments to interest-free loans for students and for small businesses, social benefits. This is one phenomenon. The realistic approach to this kind of commitment and the trust of the people in the feasibility of this commitment. The other part is less common, and is the use of state officials for campaigning, the use of state vehicles campaigning, and I think this misuse of state resources has been fueled also because the lack of the counterpowers that could be the local and provincial political bodies. Because if the local and political bodies are appointed by the central government, is the central government exercising any competence? And doing so is blurring the lines between government and campaign. Finance, for the first time, we are very happy to have recommended the country to go ahead with legislation on campaign finance. It's the first time. It's true there are an absence of limits on private donation, and the other main issue is the control of the finance is provided after the campaign. Meaning, it's true. Election Commission is trying to have a look on the campaign finances, but this is not an information that has been offered before to the voters to be part of the equation of anyone. And I think it could be an effort for the Election Commission, but the finance campaign is not the data to collect for the history. It's the data to offer to the voters as part of the information regarding the candidates. And the problem that I mentioned, the Election Commission is receiving 39 finance reports. In our view, with difficulties to manage, except is the Election Commission simply stamp the papers and publish the papers online. And for that reason, we insisted a lot in the digital format of the forms of the financial reports of the candidates, in a way that the task that is difficult to take for the Election Commission could be done by the civil society. But if at the end we only have 39 piles of paper, it's going to be difficult, and this is another thing, another issue to tackle, the format of the financial reports of the candidates. Media, we have been following and checking and tracking 6 TVs, 2 public, 4 private, 3 radios, 3 newspapers, and 4 online outlets. Some of prominent media have not complied with the obligation of offering free airtime to some of the candidates. But the main problem of the media is the partisan bias, the partisan alignment of the most part of the media, and the lack of debates. Of course, the people know very well what papers are supporting one candidate, but at least to have some debates in a way that you can compare the offers and you could see the contenders struggling peacefully with another, offering a more complete and not only a partisan biased information. And another concerning subject, this fear-mongering campaign about the violence. sometimes I had the impression that the people asking or predicting the violence as inevitable, they were looking for a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. To me, it was astonishing, because when I visited the premises, it was so calm, so peaceful, completely any kind of unrest, not to say tension. And then there is a campaign in the media saying, violence is happening, violence is happening, violence is happening. And this is a thing that has been spread by some media, and this is far from any kind of professional approach from a journalist. Social media. We have been following 300 accounts in the social media, having at least 1,000 followers each, trying to have a map about what happened in the social media. We noticed, as I said, especially in the social media, the increasing of the hostile rhetoric, especially at the end of the campaign, manipulated content, as I said, it's happening elsewhere, accusatory statement, the invasion, the colonization of the gossip program and entertainment programs by politics and partisan politics, and even the use of private social media accounts for campaigning, using relevant people, influencers, and people having a lot of followers, allowing to use their accounts for political purposes. Luckily, there are fact checkers. We don't do fact checking. We follow the media, and we ban and we trust the domestic reliable fact checkers, just to engage. And we know the efforts of the Election Commission to deal with the platforms, asking them to respect the law, with inconsistent results. There are platforms that they comprehend they have to refrain or to reinforce the control that they have, and there have been other completely disregarding the idea. And for that reason, we had campaign during the silent days and during the day of the elections, because some of the social media platforms, they simply didn't intervene when it was clear there was campaign, direct campaign, during the silent days. The fake surveys have been one of the issues that you know that has been addressed by the Election Commission. Civil society, congratulations, lively, committed, very agile in the things, pointing at some things like transparency and inclusiveness. And I think we have some good record on the inclusiveness of the election regarding people with disabilities, better than in other occasions. Of course, they have been following the disinformation, and they have been trying to debunk some disinformation, and they track violation immediately to communicate to the Election Commission and the Election Commission to the police. That I have to praise the police and the way in which the police immediately were active following the instructions of the Election Commission. The election day was very professional. Very professional. It's true that you are tasking the main functions to civil servants. They are educated people knowing very well how to deal with papers, many papers, but they did very well. A few females chairing the polling station board for many reasons, but this is the thing to do. But in the counting center, there were a lot of females chairing the counting teams that they had. The observers, without any restriction, observing the election. We only had one minor problem because one chair of our board asked for the passport to our observer, but nothing to do with us, nothing to relate, nothing with the party observer, nothing with the PAFRED and other society organization observing the election. Minor events in any way affecting, despite having had 600 complaints every day, nothing particularly remarkable and nothing at all being not allowing the peaceful development of the voting. Social media campaigning during the Chinese days and social media campaigning during the election day. This is more or less our assessment about the process. I would like to say a final remark coming from a politician. Don't be alarmed in the Brussels stage. Don't be alarmed. Your democracy has a solid foundation. Your democracy has an extended experience and tradition of election. As I said in the beginning, we are only recommending to refine something. It's a kind of fine-tuning. But it's high time to get rid of these old practices of misuse of the state's resources. It's not needed in any way. It's not matching with the maturity of the electorate and the voters. And regarding the misuse, because now you have in power the leader of the opposition, and you are having elections, parliamentary and local and regional, this is a good test for the new administration. If they are doing the same that they have suffered as opposition, or if the administration is changing finally this kind of traditions. And I don't know if we are being in the country, but our embassy is being in the country, and we are being aware of these practices that the current government has suffered as an opposition. They are going to repeat it a lot. And the other thing, this is another political approach, friendly political approach. I think it's needed a closer alignment between the people and the political elite. Listen, the same day in which a state institution, as the election commission said, this has been the most peaceful electoral campaign and electoral process in our history. The same day, there was a curfew. And this is not matching. Something is happening, because how can you say at the same time, you, the state, because the election commission is the state, you say this is the most peaceful campaign in our history, and suddenly, without time to go anywhere, we have to call our teams to be